So, I'm going to go ahead and, in the interest of keeping things going here, let's go ahead and we're going to read over our archetype that we're going to be playing, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. So here's the deal. Before I begin, let me just say, I am blown away by you guys. Seriously. For those that don't know, we put up a post on letting people submit their archetypes, right? Well, you know, when I first put this up, I was thinking, yeah, maybe we'll be lucky if we get 10, and we can look through them and pick from there. Yeah. So, there's 8 pages of 20 archetypes per page for New Vegas. And some of these archetypes are, like, I can't... Picking which archetype to use was an extremely difficult decision. I kid you not, there are probably 50 different archetypes in this thread that I would have loved playing. I mean, this is the look at this. This is the first one. Look how thorough this is. I mean, a great background bio, a great stat loadout, goes down with the implants. I mean, it blew. Let's just go to random page 5 and go down and find one. Like it just blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. The reason I'm saying this is if you're thinking of starting New Vegas, I highly recommend you go to this thread and check them out, because there are some phenomenal ideas in here. And I just want to, again, thank everyone that took the time to make these. If yours didn't get picked and you spent a lot of time on it, trust me, I liked your post, I read every word of it, and I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry I didn't pick it. One of the reasons, first of all, let's go ahead and start at the beginning here. Which one did we pick? So the one that we picked, after talking with my mods, after talking with viewers, after talking with some of my other streamer friends on Skype, the one that we came to pick is called Lisa. Now, Lisa is going to be a very interesting build. This is the first female build that I've done. There are a few little things I'm slightly worried about, like 1 charisma. That's going to be pretty rough, and I did look it up. That is going to cut out some of our speech options, but that's okay. But anyway, let's go over what we picked. Now, one of the things, also our strength is kind of low, which may be a little bit rough, but that's okay. One thing that I do really like about this build is Perception 10. Now, having a high perception in Fallout New Vegas really does help unlock some stuff that you don't get to normally see. There's actually a few checks in Fallout New Vegas for 10 perception. That's pretty cool. So, having a high perception will definitely help. Now, another interesting thing about this run is even though we're going to have 1 charisma, we are going to have 10 intelligence, which means that we are going to be able to reason our way out of a lot of text options, but we are not going to be able to convince people of our side, which is going to be kind of a big deal. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So anyway, the traits we're going to be picking are Wild Wasteland and Early Bird. I don't know what Early Bird is, so that's going to be interesting. We're going to take a look there. He does... the Ginger Gamer did put a perk list, but he did say specifically advised but not mandatory. So we'll probably follow this template mostly, but we may make some adjustments as the guy has allowed us to do that. By the way, I'm going to go over all the subs and donations as soon as I'm done going over this template. So, it is an energy weapon run, and in fact, she does prefer plasma and lasers, so we are going to try to stick to that as much as we can. It's also a medicine run. I've never done a medicine run as a trait. That could be kind of interesting. Also, we will be focusing on repair, and we'll be tagging science when we have the chance. So, in other words, we're going into this playthrough without lockpicking and without science. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. Okay. So I'm going to read this for you real quick, guys, and then we're going to get started. They always say the quiet ones are the ones you have to watch, and with Lisa, that's never been truer than ever. Lisa didn't have the best life growing up, and coming from a family of farmers back west in the NCR. Her family wanted her to do as they did, tend to the land for the greater good of the NCR, but she wasn't interested in raising Brahmin and the likes. She spent much of her youth running off the farm to look for books that told her of the old world before the war. One day, she found a bombed-out barracks with books that told her the science and engineering of the old world weaponry, and from that day on, she was hooked on science. Because of her interest in science, her family and locals always looked down on her for being different, and thought she was going out of her way not to help the NCR. Years of belittlement caused her to resent farmers and use her intellect to use people into getting her own way. This is where it starts getting interesting. At the age of 16, she left her family farmstead and headed east for a new life in New Vegas. Short on cash, she took a job as a courier. Being all alone and feeling the world is against her, she developed alcoholism in an attempt to wash away the pain. She is also paranoid of radiation poisoning after meeting some ghouls as a child. After being shot by Benny, she snapped and has now gotten sick of being stepped on and is going to become the top dog in New Vegas. The wasteland will forever change when she's done with her one-woman crusade to get to the top. Alright. Playstyle. Never help farmers or farm communities. Unless you super have to. She doesn't remember all the main story quests, but we are not going to help any farmers or farming communities. Do all you can to screw people over to make yourself in a better position, or just because you want to take some of your pain out on other people. Being an alcoholic means she must drink any alcohol freely available to her, and steals if she hasn't had at least 3 alcohol drinks that day. Because she is paranoid about radiation, she must take any Radaway and Radex as soon as it's found. As for weaponry, use laser and plasma weapons when possible, but guns are allowed. Melee, however, shouldn't be used at all. And if you ever get the chance to blow some innocents up, it should be taken. Due to Lisa's upbringing and her recent psychopathic tendencies, she has much more affinity with Kaiser's Legion than NCR, but this doesn't mean she outright hates or loves either. Just never forget her goal is to seize power any way she can, no matter who must die to get in her way. Okay, so this is going to be, like I said earlier, a very interesting run. Now, I'm going to do my absolute best to stick to this archetype. However, and this is an important thing, you guys are going to help me stick to this archetype. What do I mean by that? I mean that if you guys ever see an opportunity for me to really live up to this archetype, and you're watching me play and you're like, hey, if Cody this would really be like the archetype, tell me. Because I will probably do it. So, keep that in mind. Alright, let me get Lisa on the screen here. And then we're going to fire it up and let's do it.